Hello, everyone, and welcome to the International Dental Student Trends podcast. I'm Dr. Amin, your host, a licensed dentist in the US with an international dentistry background. From my journey as an applicant to facilitating discussions on the online platform group and providing tutoring services, I have gained some insight into most common misconceptions and challenges related to the application process. In this podcast, our goal is to share valuable perspective and offer strategies to enhance your application experience. In my opinion, enhancing your understanding of the application process, as well as increasing self-awareness, are vital steps for taking purposeful actions towards a successful application. It is essential to enhance yourself as a candidate so that the schools are eager to interview based on your application. So, in our first episode, we will talk about 3 important things that you should be doing as an applicant. First is we'll talk about creating an intention list. The second are some of the questions to ask during an interview. And the third is actually to do an interview worksheet after your interview. So let's talk about each of them in a little bit more detail. When I say creating an intention list, which is the first topic we are going to discuss, when I'm talking about intention list, I'm talking about reasons that you want to go to a dental school. I'm not talking about a particular dental school or a particular program. I'm just talking about reasons that you are choosing to do this IDP or advanced standing program. And I completely understand that a lot of us assume that the sole reason we're going to dental school is actually to be eligible for dental license. But I believe there's wealth of other benefits that comes from pursuing this dental education. And it's very important that you sit down and write all those reasons of why you want to go to a dental and you are going to this international dental program or advanced standing program. When I was applying to residency programs at one time, I had multiple interviews and I was talking to my sister about it. If you know about residencies, they have match, which means that you rank programs and the programs rank you. And I was talking to her and I was like, I'm not sure how I want to rank them. And she asked me, do you know what you want out of a program? And obviously having a certification or degree is one of the factors. And she was like, no, other than that, what you want out of a program. And that's when I was like, oh, I need to sit down and reflect what I want out of a program. So that's when I started creating this intention list. And I realized it actually has far more benefits. One, it actually helps you to prepare your answers for interview, especially when the schools want to know what. So it's important that you have that intention list to look back on. The second benefit, it actually helps you understand what you are looking for. And this, I hope a lot of you are in this situation where you get multiple acceptances. It actually plays a really vital role at that point. A lot of factors are considered by the candidates when they have these multiple acceptances. By far the most common ones that I've seen is financial aspects, so obviously the cost of attending the school. And the second is distance. So if they live in a particular area, they want to see how far they are from these schools that they have got acceptance. Sometimes these factors are not that important for students and they want to look into other things. And that's when the intention list comes in, because you have the factors of why do you want to go to these schools, and now you can see the schools that have sent you acceptances, do they align with these factors? Or if they don't, the factors that they don't align with, are those a negotiable factor, or which of those ones are negotiable, or which school is the closest of them. So it does help you in that areas as well. So that's why an intention list is important to be created, especially when you're applying, you're at the stage of application process. Now let's talk about what can go into an intention list. So when you create an intention list for dental school, like I said, there are a number of factors. So first, primarily for everyone, is obtaining a dental license. The second could be gaining additional clinical experience. If someone is a fresh grad or had limited a number of years of experience, they want more patient experience. That could be a factor they want to consider. Third, on the similar line, could be learning more of procedures. And these procedures could include surgical extractions, implant-supported restorations, additional endodontic procedures. I'm sure a lot of you are volunteering or shadowing at a dental office, so you're seeing more procedures, and if you want to add those to the list, that's okay too. Fourth could be enhancing your communication and treatment planning skills. So, like I said, if you're volunteering and shadowing, you can see how the treatment plan is being presented over here, and that's something that you want to learn. Fifth, if someone is interested in specializing and they want to learn more about a specific field, that could be a factor on your list as well. There are schools that have designed ways for students to gain additional experiences in different residencies, so they could have shadowing days or have specific programs that you could be part of so that you could gain additional experience. Number 6 on the list could be research. If someone is interested in research, that could be a factor on your list as well. Factors could include staying updated with the latest advancement in dental technology and methodology, or cultivating leadership skills by taking roles in student organizations and committees, building professional network, anything that is important to you and you feel like that's one of the reasons you want to go to the program will go on your intention list. So sit down, reflect, and write some points down that you think is important to you. Let's talk about how intention lists come into play while you're preparing for interview. 1, it helps you to prepare your answers for interview, especially those questions where you have to choose a program or a school. You can talk about, my 3 points on the intention list is gaining additional clinical experience, doing certain procedures, or doing research, and your program, for example, has these factors and that aligns with my intention list. So that's one of the ways you can prepare or choose to prepare your answer. If you do not want to choose the word intention list, you can also say that the reasons that I want to go to an international dental program or advanced standing program or to this school is like this, and your school provides these factors which I'm looking for, and that's the reason I want to choose. So it's how you prepare your answer. The best way to prepare your answer is to understand what you want, and that's where this intention list comes into play. The other way the intention list is a benefit is that it helps you to prepare for questions to ask during an interview. And this is our segue into our second topic for discussion on this podcast, which is questions to be asked during an interview. It's important to ask questions during an interview that's going to help you understand the program. For example, one of the factors on your intention list was to get a license because you want to work as an associate. So you could ask questions such as, what professional development and growth prospects do you provide for students interested in seeking an associate position? And they could have additional courses or classes to talk about contracts, what to look for a position, what's the good things, what are bad things. So that's one of the questions you can ask. It goes back to your intention list. Or if you're someone who wants to specialize, the same question could be asked another way, which is, what professional development and growth prospects do you provide for students interested in seeking a residency position? Let's say on your intention list, you had digital dentistry as one of the factors. You can ask, how does the program integrate new technologies and advancements in the field of dentistry? Or say you have research as one of the factors. You can ask, what kind of research opportunities are available to students? The other questions that can be asked could be related to student resources. And the initial few months of the program are quite intense. These few months, you are learning the preclinical skills, so you can then go to the clinical floor and provide care in an efficient and effective manner. In addition to learning these skills, everything around is new as well. So you may have moved to a new city or new state. You have a new class around you, new people that you're working around, and life can happen. So it's very important to know how school can support you during this time. So you could ask questions such as, what support system are in place for student well-being or for their mental health? Let's talk about another question that I think is important to ask, and it is to know if there's something that can be improved in the program. This question is very helpful, especially if you have multiple interviews. And the question is, how can this program be enhanced? So this is to know if there are any areas of improvement. And when you're making your decision whether to choose this program versus another, you can see if that factor is negotiable or non-negotiable for you. Questions can be, which features of this program do you find distinctive? Or what qualities have led to success among dental students? Or incorporate feedback from students and alumni to improve the program. And now let's talk about the third and the final topic for today's episode, which is worksheet for interview. I'm calling this as a worksheet for interview because I want you to come back and work on it. Let's suppose you had an interview today. You're going to come back and you're going to work on the sheet where you're going to write the good things about the interview. So you're going to write, okay, the program talked about all these aspects that were good and you liked it. Something that you thought was not that good, you are going to write that on the sheet as well. And now you're going to compare this with your intention list. So you're going to go back and see how many of the factors actually aligned with, just for your knowledge and curiosity. What are the benefits of doing this exercise? The benefit of making a worksheet first is that it helps you to write your thoughts down. So after an interview, there's a lot of things going in your mind. You are trying to figure out if you said the right answers. You had so much knowledge, resources that were shared with you. This helps to write things down and free some space in your mind. The second, it helps you to prepare for the next interview. So there will be some things that you would write down. You'll be like, oh, I could have done this better. Or I could have asked this question better. So it helps you to prepare for another interview. Third, I hope this is not the case, but if you have to reapply, as a reapplicant who has interviewed, you could incorporate certain things that they have shared with you on the day of interview into your questions or your interview. So that's how you would be able to prepare yourself a bit better from last time. We are towards the end of our episode. In this episode, we talked about 3 things: creating an intention list, second, some questions that can be asked during the interview, and third, we talked about doing a worksheet after the interview. Hope this episode was helpful. In my understanding, the key to a successful application lies in preparation, self-reflection, and a genuine portrayal of who you are and what you aspire to achieve. We will be back again. Take care of yourself and remember that every step you take brings you closer to your goals. So stay focused, stay positive, and keep striving for your dreams. Goodbye for now.